Hello and welcome to the BESIG Summer Symposium in Paris. I'm Claire Hart from the BESIG online team and I'm talking to Martin Lisboa. He's presenting at the conference this afternoon and he's also one of the co-authors of the Business Advantage series. Thank you for talking to me, Martin.
Thank you, Claire, and hello everybody. We were looking for an inspiring background here at Paris Telecom. We couldn't find it, so we found these geraniums instead, which adds that little extra touch to the affairs. Anyway, as Claire said, I'll be giving a talk on teaching business theory in a business English context, and we're going to be covering things like exactly kind of contextualising business theory within business English as a whole, as an umbrella, and looking at where it touches on different areas that we wouldn't exactly credit with being influenced by business theory. So, for example, language, tactics and strategy, for example. Are they two words, which we can look at in a dictionary, or are they actual concepts? They're both, and if you put in what's the difference between tactics and strategy, you will find huge amounts of material out there from business sites which are describing the two things. And I think the problem is that both of them are often used interchangeably. So when we look at those two words, strategy and tactics, we need to look at the concepts behind them, which is business theory. Another example, a case in point, is teaching skills such as persuasive communication, which can be writing, it can be spoken. Again, that's training, but it's also theory. I mean, if you're doing persuasive communication, at one point or another, you'll come across the concepts, the theory of talking about benefits, not features. How you change benefits into features. Did I say features or features? Features, right.
Yeah.
So, for example, I can say I've got an iPod here, and this iPod is a 64 gigabyte iPod. Right, that's a feature. But to persuade a client to be interested in it, but purchasing it, you would want to turn that into a feature, into a benefit. So, this is a 64 gigabyte iPod, which means that you can store 12,000 songs. Okay, so the which means is a language element which changes the feature into a benefit. I was blown away by this when I was looking at researching this on the internet. There's so many business sites which are talking about this, and they're using all this ELT stuff. Yeah? It's language, and yet these people have never heard of ELT. So again, it's this kind of merger between skills, business theory, in this case, persuasive communication. It's very difficult to talk about persuasive communication unless you're talking about business features and benefits, and the language, and they all kind of come together and meet within persuasive communication. So I think there's this morphing and blurring between these different areas. So that's what I'm looking at. I mean, Business Advantage itself is based on an MBA approach to teaching. It assumes no prior knowledge of business on behalf of the teacher or the student. So you've got 14 units, and you'll have 14 theory units, lessons, and then 14 case studies. So you've got a case study and a theory lesson which come one after the other. So there's the theory. How does that theory work in practice? So you take branding, for example. There's a case study on Havaianas, the Brazilian leisure footwear company makes those fantastic flip-flops. And before that, we would look at, we would present an extract from a lecture on branding from Nottingham University Business School. And then that's mine for language and for skills work, but also for content and concepts. Yeah? And then you see in the next lesson how that works in practice in a case study. So theory and practice, which again is valid both for pre-service students who don't have any working experience and for working professionals. Okay? And the content will be exploited in different ways depending on your cohort of students. So, the talk will be about those topics, and it'll be illustrated with material from Business Advantage. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, it just occurred to me that often we, as teachers, expect that because learners are in work, in business, that they automatically have this knowledge of business theory, but they don't always, do they?
They don't at all, and in fact that's what business MBAs are all about. You can't do an MBA unless, I've got an MBA myself, you can't do an MBA unless you've got at least 2 years work experience. Working professionals know about their job, they know about their sector, they know about their field, but they don't often know the theories and the principles behind that, and that's what they're studying, that's what they're going on these MBA programs to do. And of course for pre-service students who haven't got any work experience, then they need the content, they need the ideas. Because I don't know what you find, Claire, but I find that in my context, in my teaching context, and I teach at the University of Pisa Business English, is that students, sometimes it's not a problem of language, it's often a problem of a lack of ideas, a lack of content. So we need to teach them both content and ideas, both together.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And I think you can do that. I think that's the point, is that as a teacher, as a business English teacher, you can do that so long as you have the right material which is guides and directs that learning. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for talking to us, Martin. Look forward to your workshop this afternoon.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.